Give me 2 seconds. Well, all right. All right, we'll get back to it. I made the fatal mistake of leaving one of the bathroom doors open, and then I heard stuff getting trashed, and I realized that Kitty was systematically destroying everything in that bathroom. But that's on me. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. All right. Hello. I don't know if Brandon's going to be able to. I don't know what his internet situation is. So he might be with us, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Hello. Ooh, can do it. Hello. Yeah, they love them. And Loki goes for the center of them. He eats it like you would eat like a turkey leg. He goes right into the center and digs a path through the center, and then he doesn't like unroll it. He just chews into it and then spits it out and goes after another one. So that's frustrating, but oh, Cadena. Ouch. Cadena's shutting down. Anybody that owns Cadena, you guys know about that, right? They're just shutting down. They said, well, the market conditions and all this kind of. What do you mean market conditions? You guys raised money. How did you burn through all that money? So, yeah. You guys had asked why. There's a lot of projects that we look at, and you kind of just have this gut feeling that it's going to be in the toilet. Yeah, Cadena, toilet. So that's why. And now let's see, what else is toilet? Let's see, pretty much everything Singularity Net has ever touched, toilet, including Fetch. They're all beefing now, right? Basically, Fetch, Humayun, the guy who originally intended to steal $100 million from investors. Well, to sell against you guys. That was part of the whole ASI launch. He wanted to cash out $100 million. So, and this was on a call, by the way. This isn't like speculation. He said this on a call, and then they were like, "Hey, don't tell anybody." Like, oh okay. So Humayun Shake or whatever his last name is, over at Fetch, who is a complete scumbag crook. He was originally down for the deal with ASI because he would get to cash out $100 million, put it in his back pocket. And Ben and Mario, of course, they're no longer, they hate each other now. But Ben and Mario were happy about it because they were gonna pull a bunch of AGIX tokens that were supposedly locked, but then somehow weren't locked, which makes you wonder if they were ever locked. The answer is no, they could never have been locked. Otherwise, they couldn't have gotten them to forward sell them. So they took 100 million tokens, sold them so they could get their cash and buy some servers or some old stupid stuff. And you would have assumed that the people at Ocean were going to get their 100 million or so dollars worth of stuff out of this whole deal. That was the whole point. So then, apparently, when all this was going down in the very beginning days, I mean, if you're at Ocean Protocol, you look and you go, well, this guy's going to sell and put 100 million in his pocket. Those guys are going to sell. They're going to buy, 50 or 100 million dollars worth of useless hardware. We should get our 100 million. So apparently they had taken a bunch of tokens, Ocean tokens, swapped them, started selling them. They weren't allowed to, swap them into Fetch. They weren't supposed to do that. I guess the part of this deal was that Ocean Protocol, the only company that actually had a product, was going to merge with Fetch and Singularity Net, two companies that don't have a product, and that the only company with a product wasn't allowed to sell and put any cash in their hands. But the two companies with no products to sell and nothing to show for it were allowed to sell and put cash in their hands. So you would think the people at Ocean were like, why don't we get some money? We're the only company with an actual product. Well, now everybody's suing everybody. Everybody's pissed off. And Humayun's, how dare you? How dare you sell those tokens? Like, but you did the same thing. Shut up. We're not talking about me. We're talking about you. Like, oh, what a not surprising dumpster fire finish to that clown show. So congratulations, ASI. Yeah. I was thinking of words that you could put into ASI to make it more meaningful. But anyway, I know what the S would be. I just haven't decided what the A and the I would be yet. All right. Let's see. Ben's downfall was largely a result of poor judgment. Yeah, that's the thing. Ben is just not a finance guy. And so what he was doing is leveraging these guys to do that stuff for him. And Mario was almost always perceived as a crook. I mean, even from the beginning, you knew when even he and his partner, like when he tried to oust Marcello from the company that Marcello started. That was a little weird. The fact that Marcello left so easily, like, I want out of my own company, that's weird. And then Mario's weird partnerships with all these people, and the fact that he was so close to that guy David Lake, that guy is very, very sketchy. I mean, so sketchy. He kept trying to meet when he was in LA. They were all in LA, and this is when I met the twin team. And this is back before I knew Bill was, borderline retarded, and Stacy was even less capable. And then I met Mario, and he was a snake, like he's always a snake. But he was a necessary evil. We had to work with those guys. And then I met and then David wanted to meet, and I was like, nah, we can just text. He's like, let's get together. I'll come over. I was like, no, you're not coming over to my house. I don't want you to even know where I live. He's a snake. He's a snake, and he's a scumbag, and he's also not very intelligent. And that's just a combination I don't want to be around. So anyway, I wouldn't hang out with that dude. And he was the main engineer behind all this. he engineered all this crap between, or at least he got the ball rolling between Humayun and Ben via Mario and all this, and yeah, that's basically it. Scott, you nailed it. The downfall was just poor judgment, and which sucks because I like Ben. When you listen to him talk, it's valuable to listen to Ben talk about AI and AGI and where the future's going. Ben is a freaking smart dude, but if you surround yourself with crooks and creeps, the outputs are just the same, and that's not good. That is not good. So unfortunately, yeah, Ben was just that. Scott, were you the one? You were the one the other day that said that I had said revenue profit. So I think you're right in certain circumstances, and I'm right in certain circumstances. I'll tell you this: there is a difference between profit and revenue, the technical term. In the options market, if you're letting stuff go to it till it expires worthless, it's the same. But you're right in that obviously revenue is the total take, and profit is the take after you back out whatever kind of operating expense, whatever the expenses were on that revenue. So on that, you're correct. In the options market, if you're taking things to expiration or getting put, then it's the same in that case. In a business, it wouldn't be, but in the options market, if you're taking things to expiration, then it would be the same, unless you're buying your way back. So I guess it depends. From week to week, it could be slightly different, I suppose. Anyway, Estelle. Wait, you can't. You broke weak on the O. You broke weak on the O. But yeah, okay. Realistically, Ben was never going to achieve AGI before the big boys. Like, yeah. And I don't even think it's Microsoft, Facebook, Google. I think it's maybe the competition was OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and if you had these factions forming where people splintered, where they left OpenAI or DeepMind and went somewhere else. Microsoft is not really a player in AI other than that they're just hiring people or they're collaborating. Facebook, yes-ish, but all of the real talent was kind of in two places, and that was OpenAI and Google, and now to an extent Anthropic. But yeah, there was. It was even kind of borderline sad and laughable for them to think they were going to achieve AGI first. Now, if you keep moving the goalpost and changing what the definition is of AGI, sure. Like if you used 10 years ago definition of AGI, we have well past that. Oh shit, that's fine. So they just kind of keep moving it because they're like, no, it's got to be this also. And no, it's got to be this also. All right, okay. I guess our idea of what AGI is just evolves every time someone achieves it. Someone else says, no, you haven't achieved it. And yet robots are going around folding our clothes. The minute I can get one of those robots, one of those figure ones that will actually do stuff at home, I'm going to get one. I wonder if I could get one. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, the things that you could teach it to do. Like if I could teach it to play with the cats, if all it did was play with the cats and then at night it became like the first floor Terminator, where it's just like a security robot with like a red lights for eyes or something, that would be badass. Right? Can you imagine you're a burglar and you see a Terminator walk by in the house you're about to break into? You're like, nah, hell no. Hell nah. Well, it wouldn't. My robot won't have to cook. All my robot will have to do is just be able to order the things that I would normally order. So yeah, off Uber Eats. But I can still I'll be like, robot. I'll give it a cool name. Arnold. Yeah, Arnold. Order us what we had last Thursday. Done. Sweet. The robot cleaning, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's kind of cool. If you could have the robot kind of go behind you and clean, that would be badass, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited about the robots. I think it's going to be awesome. Um, anyway, there's a lot to look forward to. There's even a lot. I mean, I know we're in a frustrating part of the crypto market, but there's a lot to look forward to here in the crypto market. Like a lot. I know the prices right now kind of suck. We can take a look at these suckers. And yeah, things have been just kind of like flat to nothing burger. But I mean, even yesterday we were at 114K Bitcoin and 4,100 Ethereum yesterday, and then absolutely no freaking reason at all. And the reasons that I've been given are not, you know, you read these stupid ass articles like on Cointelegraph and all that. It's like, oh, it's because people are waiting for the inflation, the CPI to come out on Friday. Bullshit. It wasn't that yesterday at 11:40 when the market started going down, there was some weird, cultural moment where everybody in crypto went, CPI comes out Friday. I don't even know if I trust the data. Oh, fuck. And everybody started selling. Get off the gas. People want so bad to have a very clear, simple answer for things that they are willing to accept the dumbest stuff. So just to defer thinking, to defer any kind of intellect. I think this is what's going on in the market. People are scared. They got punished a couple of weeks ago. They don't trust. They're weak-minded. You have a lot of people that are we're getting into this kind of recession/depression mentality where if something goes up $4, they sell it. Oh, take my $4 and get off the table. The whole market is behaving like Eric. You guys, Eric, remember producer Eric, who holds Bitcoin for about 14 minutes and he's too fucking panicky and then he sells and he just can't hold on to anything for more than 4 minutes because he's just emotionally incredibly weak. He's a nice guy, but as far as an investor, he's an emotional basket case. And he will be working for somebody for the rest of his life. He just will, because that's it. Or he'll just be unemployed. But either way, there's no apogee for people like that. There's no apogee for panic people. Investing means sitting back mostly on your hands and doing nothing despite all the chaos around you. That it is what it is. And but all of the data surrounding the market is quite the opposite. Like you had the leverage washout, you had most of the gambly idiots got evaporated. They're just no longer in the market. They're going and giving hand jobs behind the Denny's in order to earn more money to go dump into the perps market. All this. And this market is very strange. Institutionally, people are buying up like Ethereum and Bitcoin like it's going out of style. Bitcoin whales are converting their Bitcoin through in-kind redemption with BlackRock in droves. I mean, droves. Quick side note. Do you see that Galaxy Digital, their ratings, everybody's giving a higher ratings now? Oh, I'm changing it to a buy. I'm changing it to a strong hold because they had a blowout quarter. And when you look through their quarter, Galaxy is the company that burns about 200 million. That's what run by Mike Novogratz, who's kind of a douchebag. And they've been losing money every quarter, just like since they started. But all of a sudden, they had this blowout quarter. And analysts are like, this stock is amazing. And then you look through and go, wait, why was this a blowout quarter and all of your other quarters are losers? Because of one deal that they did with one guy getting out of Bitcoin, an old ancient whale that sold them $9 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they turned a $500 million profit on it, which means they raped that dude, first of all. But that one deal put them in profit. And now you have these analysts like, oh my God, Galaxy Digital is amazing. They're AI deals for data center and all this kind of. This is how bad it's getting, man. This is even these analysts. What a bunch of junk salesmen. One deal. They did one deal where they stuck it to some early Bitcoin guy, and that's their profit. And it's the first time they've shown a profit in probably 8 quarters on one deal with one guy. And analysts think that's a repeatable process. Are they going to keep finding that one guy every quarter? Like, this shows you the disconnect in intellect. Like how far people are away from kind of common sense. Now, and I guess that's a problem. Because when you use common sense and reason for your decision making, and you're surrounded by people that don't, well, that's tricky. That's tricky, isn't it? It's a very weird iterative game. But here we are. So regulatorily, the regulatory climate is good. We don't have the market structure bill, and because of this shutdown, which has gone further than I thought it was going to go, I thought it'd be resolved by this week. I figured, I guess it's still, this week's not over. There's still 2 days, but I would have thought cooler heads would prevail, but not yet. So we're now going into the longest shutdown in history. So I guess the other one was, there was 2 shutdowns in 2018. One of them was like a day. The other one was 35 days. So this would be, if it is, this would be the new record, although it's not there yet. But they believe, if you look at Polymarket and Kashi and these, gambling markets, these prediction markets, or gambling markets, that I think the consensus is 40 days, which would make it 5 days longer than the longest. That would end this dispute somewhere around November 11th. I guess is what they're saying. I would be surprised if it went that far, but so I still have hopes for this week. But anyway, the regulatory environment is good for crypto. In-kind redemptions are now starting to flow as far as the Bitcoin ETFs. You have, and that's good because that's people that are moving over into the ETF that aren't just dumping Bitcoin on the market to get out, like some of these guys that you've seen. You have a couple of your whales that are doing some dirty dealing. They're selling and then buying puts, and they're selling and then shorting, and in order to sell, and doing all this kind of, very whatever. It's kind of amoral, but whatever. I mean, you have $1 billion worth of something. You want to have 100, you want to have 1.1 billion. Like, I'm not hating. But other than that kind of ancient whale behavior, which has been kind of weird lately, the government shutdown won't go on forever. That's going to end. The Fed's going to cut rates next week. That's a certainty. At some point, this war in Ukraine will get settled. I guess they'll make progress on that Thursday. The available supply of Ethereum is just about as low as it's ever been on exchanges. The Fusaka upgrade is coming. December? What day is that? I think the Fusaka upgrade goes live December 3rd. Maybe I'm getting my numbers confused. I think it's December 3rd. Anyway, so there's all sorts of very positive things, at least for your upper echelon, for Bithereum. There's all sorts of positive things for Bithereum. Beyond that, I don't know. I don't know why anybody in the Cardano community, the XLM community, the XRP community, I don't know why any of them would be surprised that those tokens are selling off. They're mostly worthless. No one's doing anything with them. So of course they should sell off. They're useless. And that's mostly the entire crypto space, which is unfortunate. But we will get back to a boom cycle at some point. Also, let's see. Well, the Fed did mention that they are going to curtail their roll-off, meaning their quantitative tightening. They're going to slow the pace of their quantitative tightening, potentially kill it, meaning the next step is not QE, which I'm sure that Jerome Powell, they're already looking at what they might have to do there. And again, remember, they do that with bank reserves, whether it's not QE, or QE. And remember, the distinction is when Jerome Powell and his idiots did not QE, remember, this is not QE, it was absolutely QE, quantitative easing, through which they were buying bills instead of notes and bonds. So normally in a quantitative easing program, you would purchase across the entire spectrum of maturities, right? Now, purchase, you're giving bank reserves to banks. That's not money, but you're taking their quality collateral, which is worth money. So, but if you only buy bills, remember, it's bills, notes, then bonds on the curve. Bills, notes, bonds. So if you're only taking bills, it's not QE. It's just the short end of the curve, which is even more asinine because those are the most quality of the AAA quality collateral because it's short-term on-the-run treasuries. That is the most valuable thing to people pledging into repo. Remember, if they're not forced to give this stuff to the Fed, they go pledge it in repo. They can make money on it, and then 14 other people can pledge the same piece of collateral. So, but anyway, that's probably on the horizon. That's probably already being sketched based on some kind of some weirdnesses you're seeing in the repo market. Well, in the government, in the Fed's version of repo fails and reverse repo, which that gets into a whole tricky thing too. Probably too in the weeds for this group, but yeah. But anyway, there's some stuff there. So, but like everywhere you look around, the news is quite positive as far as Bitcoin and Ethereum go. And yet we're seeing this weird behavior just all across the market. And so that tells me that this is more psychological trauma. This is depression and recession, anxiety and mentality. And that's the overriding principle right now. At some point, it will turn to be more investment biased and people will get excited again. But apparently this washout did more psychological damage than technical damage. The technical damage was probably concluded several days ago. The psychological damage is apparent every time the price goes up and down in 3 hours, like so dramatically, because everybody is so damn scared and fickle. It's like everybody's investing the way that you would walk through a haunted house. Every corner. And so I think longer term investors are holding and short term investors are in and out in moments. And it's just a very fickle, very low IQ, just very emotionally weak group of investors. That's pretty much what's going on. So here we are. And so how do you invest into that? Well, you dollar cost average. You dollar cost average into stuff that you like, and this takes the emotion out. And I think if other people were mostly dollar cost averaging, then you wouldn't have had this kind of, we wouldn't be where we are now, but we know that's not the case. Is GMRT's decline due to the project not fully enforcing the token's utility? It's not, yes, it's exactly that. They're not requiring it at all. They panicked after they launched when companies were like, we don't want to use the token. We just want to give you cash. And do I think the team could turn things around? Yes. Do I think they're going to? No. No, absolutely not. They got their money from crypto. They got their startup money. They've launched. As far as they're concerned, they have no obligation to any of us. They have no obligation to the community. They quit listening. Brandon and I were trying to talk to them and give them ideas. And no. We said, okay, well, are you requiring use of the token for this project? No. Why not? You're a crypto company. No, we're a gaming company. Okay, but you launched as a crypto company. No. Okay, so you didn't do that. No. So because your clients don't want to use crypto, you're just not, that's it. There's no crypto. No, crypto ain't happening. That's right. Okay, cool. So what's the token for? Nothing. Got it. That's awesome. And that's GMRT, unfortunately. Their technology is cool, though. Nick, do you think quality quantum computing assets are the future? Well, in what sense? In what sense, Mark? Like quality, like what? Like investment stuff? I mean, quantum computing's cool, and it's coming, and it's kind of coming at the same time as AI is approaching AGI, or has already in some lab achieved AGI. Yeah, it's like a hot thing. I don't know. I think, I mean, as an investment, maybe you just stay in the trend. I don't think it's competing with AI. I think it could actually enhance AI. I mean, if you think that AI sits on a bed of compute, and that compute could be, that its efficacy could be improved by quantum computers, then I think you would have to say that AI would benefit. The two compared to each other, I mean, the two next to each other, AI would benefit from quantum computing gains. And then in the reciprocal, those more, robust AGI systems could increase the efficiency of quantum computing systems. And yes, they could help each other. They could wash each other's back, which sounds kind of weird. And, yeah. Anyway, hopefully they're not using too much soap. Can you report that GMRT for fraudulent sales? No, not really. They'll just say, listen, we tried, and the gaming community won't use our token. That'll be there. Oh, we tried. They won't use our token. We asked them. We asked them over and over, and they won't use it. I know that's not the price. I know the price has not been the same penny price for 5 minutes. So weird. Let me look somewhere else. More trusted. Okay, yeah. CoinMarketCap is always better. Well, it's always currenter. Let me just say that. It's currenter. I love how Cadena shuts down. They say we're done, and the token drops 60%. If the company is finished, why isn't the token zero? Like, you wonder what some people are thinking. Like, oh, it's zero now, but you just wait. Wait on what? You just wait. Wait on what? It's the company just said they're shutting down. Yeah, but this token's going to rebound. Why? It should be zero. The company's gone. Like, sometimes this stuff's kind of mind-boggling, isn't it? Okay, God, guys, I'm not doing this. Whenever there's news, I tell you guys when there's news. I'm not just going to go list 75 projects and say there's no news. There's no news. When there's news, we talk about it. When there's no news, We don't talk about it. That's right. Bam. Okay. Is it? I mean, right now, most things are the equivalent of a penny stock. I think that's the problem, and they're being traded as such. Did you guys know Beyond Meats was at one time a penny stock, and they just went up like 80% because they got included in a meme stock ETF. So they're in a meme stock ETF, and now the price went up. Yeah, true. Oh yeah, people holding Luna. There's still people holding Luna. People dumb as hell. So let's see. Is hypercycle nodes and fees basically dead? Ideas to make something off of it? No, it's not dead. What they need to do, and they're talking about it, is there's a lot of uses for nodes that aren't just generate income. Matter of fact, there's more uses for hypercycle nodes that don't generate income, but they increase the efficiency of your system. An example would be you have an MRI machine, and the MRI has some AI that goes and identifies anomalies in the MRI, right? You go, it looks at your knee, and normally a guy holds a thing up and goes, "Oh, you're fine," or "Oh, we need to get you a meniscus surgery," or whatever. So imagine that you have embedded a node or a few or whatever in the software of this MRI machine, and now it can detect 17% more issues, or it has 17% more efficiency, or accuracy has increased by some amount simply because of that node. So then you say, okay, cool. Well, what would those companies pay for that node? Meaning, what would they pay for it, knowing there's going to be an increase in efficiency or intelligence, and that number is hard to quantify necessarily, but they know that they're willing to pay X amount for it. Therefore, you as a node factory owner that's producing nodes, you would have a market for these nodes simply because companies all around are just buying them and sticking them with their software to increase the efficiency of whatever it is the hell that they're doing, right? So then you say, okay, cool. What's that value? Because I've argued that I don't think, at least now, I think the node earning X amount per month thing is probably not the way to look at hypercycle. I think it's a better judgment is, what is the secondary market value of a node, assuming companies want to buy nodes to increase the intelligence of their widgets? So I think that's really where our focus needs to shift. So it's going to be less about what my node will earn and more about what my node factories producing nodes is worth. Does that make sense? And just, you're a node farmer. And it's funny that it circles back to this, but in the very beginning of hypercycle, we had this idea that some people would never participate in anything other than farming nodes and selling them. Farming nodes and selling them. That's it. And that argument, I think, is probably a better one than my node makes X amount, because you need a lot of participants to make nodes have any kind of consistent income. I mean, a lot. And so if you can make a compelling argument that companies can just simply buy a node for X amount, plug it into their AI that's already running, think of a company that has security cameras, I use Waze, W-Y-Z-E, Wise, I guess, Wise. And I have a vacuum, and it's a little AI vacuum. And then I have cameras all around the house, and it identifies people. It identifies people, pets. Sometimes it confuses pets for insects, like my praying mantis that I have over here. He thinks that my praying mantis is a pet. I guess in a sense it is a pet. So it's funny because anyway, it doesn't matter. But that he's awesome. He's like he looks big on camera. But I'll get a security alert at night, and it's this praying mantis staring at the camera, like doing praying mantis stuff. But anyway, that company, you would imagine, if these home systems are, $2,000, let's say, for 5 cameras or 6, whatever, with the floodlights and the voices and all that. And you say, listen, for an extra $200 per unit, you can include these nodes, which will double the efficiency of the units. And people could choose, hey, do you want the Wise 1.1 or the 1.6 that comes with a hypercycle AI node to increase the AI intelligence? And it's an extra, $200. A lot of people would probably opt in certain areas, like in areas of medicine, in areas of security and safety. You'd pay the extra couple $100. So I think if that's the argument that starts getting made, then things start to look a lot better. But if the argument is my node makes X amount per month, I just don't think that's going to fly. And the reason it's not going to fly is because it's not flying. And yes, in very tiny little groups of testing, the nodes are making, between $2 and $10 a month per node. But it's like 12 nodes here, 6 there, 1 here. It's not sufficient. It's not sufficient data to draw any competent conclusions. So that's where my head's at on that. Let's see. I don't know about nodes as far as hypercycle. They had 2 buyers and 8 sellers for a grand total of 3K daily volume. Typically, that's considered a dead project. What do you mean? What do you mean 2 buyers and 8 sellers? You mean for the token? And where you get? I mean, the token is traded on MEXC and some other exchanges. I mean, it's and the token there's volume of the token. So I think I don't know what you're saying, Bitcoin, but in all the ways I'm trying to figure out what you're saying, I think you're wrong. All you have to do is go look at the token, look at the volume, and you can see where it's coming from. And even on the token, yesterday there was 3,200 in volume, but then you go back 3 days and it was over 100,000, and you go back a week and there were a lot of days. So I think, I'm not sure what you're saying. I kind of get the sentiment. I'm with you. There's not a lot of reason for the token, but if you've been following the team, they're trying to get away from the token anyway. The token was in the very beginning so that people could buy licenses, buy tokens, merge them, and they would have a node factory. Now you buy the node factory complete with the tokens embedded. So it solved the extra stress of going out, buying tokens, doing all the bullshit that we all did. The good news is, by doing all the bullshit that we all did, we all got free ant fees. So if there's ever a value to these things, you got double your value at some point. So yeah, I'm not sure that taking yesterday's volume on a token that's no longer needed is necessarily useful. So you may just be looking at that with a little bit of blinders on. Again, I agree with your sentiment, but remember, the token is not necessary anymore. So I think that your argument would have worked 6 weeks ago, but then 6 weeks ago they were doing 1 to 200K a day in volume. Even up to there's a few days last week they did over 100K in volume. So maybe an older argument. I don't know. Listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Node equals extra efficiency for no technical reason. It's not logical. What do you mean? Node equals extra efficiency for no technical reason. Well, there are a lot of technical reasons that it there are plenty of technical reasons. So I'm not sure what you're saying. I think the example of the MRI that now is 17% more efficient because its AI has essentially been amplified by having a hypercycle node working in there. I think that's maybe the easiest way to visualize it, Frank. Will everyone be buying HYPC factories and ant fees on Node Market? Well, Node Market's going to be a secondary market for everything. If The company itself does, like, I think there was somebody that was trying to buy a master, what would be considered a master node, an ANFI, but they were like, we don't have crypto. We just want to do a wire transfer or whatever. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to say no to that, because I think those things are like $750,000. They're not going to say no to $750,000, but the general marketplace and the secondary marketplace for all these assets is node market. So that, that will be good for node market, just that constant back and forth. How does it double? No. And it doesn't double the efficiency. I don't know by which degree it increases the efficiency, but that's what the point is. And the secret sauce, Frank, go to the Hypercycle chat and ask technical questions. This isn't a Hypercycle chat. I'm just doing broad strokes here so that the most amount of people can get the most out of it. If you're grappling with this or you don't believe it, that's cool. You should be grappling with this, and you should never believe something straight out, but go do the research. It's not my job to do your Hypercycle research. It's my job to tell you if there's any new news. Is Hypercycle not making any new node factories so we can have a market? No, there's just a certain total amount. And you guys realize it's not going to be 16 of us holding the world hostage for node licenses, right? And for nodes, you do know that, right? Like, you'll be able to offer up your node or its services to a group of people, or you'll be able to monetize it yourself. But it's not just the 16 of us that purchase licenses and things like that. There are, other people involved. Let's see. Okay. Is node market the only place to buy and sell node factories? Currently, yes. And because of the complexity of these things, it's going to be very difficult for anybody. Like, no one right now could copy and paste what we're doing at node market because of some things that I'll let maybe Brandon can talk about it a little bit about. But yeah, there's no copy and paste another node market. Node markets became probably twice as valuable a few weeks ago, for a bunch of reasons. Anyway, what is it meant by farming nodes? Basically having a node factory and tilling it till it just keeps producing more nodes every 6 months to a year as it unlocks. It would unlock 2 nodes, it would unlock 4 nodes, it would unlock 8, 16, 32, 64, 120, and so on and so forth. Yes, all the way till you get to 512, and at that point, until you get to the last one would be the 512, 2 512s, right? Like you've gotten to, that's the total everything, right? 1024. So it's like ding, 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 and then done. And then at that point, if you could sell all those, if every node factory could unlock 1024 nodes, because 1024 tokens, it was because the smallest amount of C Hypercycle any one node can have is 1 token, 1 full token. Therefore, if you had a market for nodes that was like, $100 a node, then already that node factory propagated out would be worth what, $10,240? Or let's see, 1024, yeah. So that'd be good. That'd be pretty good, would it not? Well, actually, it couldn't be 240. It would be 1,024 times 100, so it would be 124,000, wouldn't it? Which would be cool, but there has to be a constant and liquid secondary market. And that's the problem, is that market doesn't exist, and that's what Hypercycle is going to have to solve. They're going to have to solve selling this to people, kind of like you, Frank, where you're like, I don't know, I need more explanation. I think they need to simplify things where it's easily explainable to everyone why having a Hypercycle node in your system increases the intelligence of the system. I think they need to make it simple. They need to make it easy to understand, and they need to make the onboarding process easy. Make it easy to do this. So if you're telling me my nodes aren't going to make that much money, fine. But maybe the node has a flip value. I can farm it and sell it. Cool. Who's going to buy it? Cool. Why would they buy it? Cool. Make it where they will buy it. And yes, the nodes is splitting is still a thing. Why would it not be a thing? That's a technical function. That's like saying, is rain still a thing? Yeah, it still rains, Kai. Come on, guys. God damn. You guys, no one, did you guys not eat breakfast today? Yeah, why? Yeah, Joseph, in this one, why token doesn't apply? Because the token is not part of the ecosystem anymore, really. Yeah. The token is not part of the ecosystem. Well, Andy, I just decided since Brandon's not here, we were just gonna chat. All of us were gonna chat. I can tell you straight up, I'm doing nothing right now. The crypto market is in a state of psychological panic and turmoil. And there's a lot of good things on the horizon, but they need to occur. The government needs to fucking turn back on. Until these assholes get their shit together and quit grandstanding, motherfuckers, man. You're like, they don't care because they're not poor. Everybody else is broke as shit, right? But they're fine. I'm fine. Great state of, I'm fine. Okay, cool. But your constituents aren't. They can't find a fucking job, and the ones that had government jobs, they're not getting paid. So good, well done. Let's definitely wait and sit and keep millions of people without a paycheck, because you 9 of you, it's 9 holdouts, by the way, the 9 of you Democrats, by the way, think that the Affordable Care Act is not where it needs to be, and we're not making the changes. We're gonna do this now. Okay, cool. Then go house to house and tell everyone that doesn't have a job, that can't pay rent, that can't pay for their car, that can't put their kids in daycare. You go tell all of them your compelling story why the fucking 9 of you don't want the government turned back on, because you're not satisfied, even though you don't even use affordable care. You're not satisfied with the progress of the Affordable Care Act. Motherfuckers. There, see, I even got a rant. Am I optimistic about SUI? No, I sold all my SUI. I got out of it. Yeah, that's a whole other thing, right? Like, I agree. These career politicians get paid so much that, and the inside, the dirty dealing and all the Nancy Pelosi of it all, it is disgusting, dude. Isn't it crazy that Nancy Pelosi seems to be a better, more shrewd investor than Warren Buffett? Like, as far as quality of her trades and predictions. Oh, wow. How does she do it? She's so smart. She really, and how does she find the time to be such a good investor? What with all her work in government? Fucking scumbag. So yeah, well, I agree with you. I don't know. I don't even know if that's fixable, man. It's just a rot. And my buddy used to say that this is a rot. It's a rot. It's all rotting. It's an old piece of stewed fruit in the bottom of a dumpster in a trash can near a restaurant that no one goes to anymore. Unlocking, splitting, unlocking. It's all the same crap. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Why? Yeah. No, Frank. And when I'm going back and forth with you, I agree with you. They do need to make it easier. But I can't speak for them on that. They've got to make that. They've got to, and they know, because I have voiced this frustration ad nauseum with them. They are aware of it. So yeah. But listen, we are here to make the best of what we can. Yeah, I know. I know that is actually pretty funny. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When run. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 You're running. I want to. I want to be in government. Let's see. It's going to cost me $17 million to get elected, and that would take me 150 years to ever make that money back with my actual stated pay. Huh? I must have other reasons for this. There must be something else going on. It can't just be idealism. So, you know how it is. People ask, whenever they're presented with something, they ask, can I do this thing and what's in it for me? And I think, unfortunately, the second part is mostly what politicians, there's a few good ones. There are a few good politicians, but mostly it's what's in it for me. What's in it for me? Um, I almost think that those positions should be unpaid positions, or it should be like stipend, like you have a car and a place to live, and now you're an actual public servant. Oh, and if you're involved in corruption, you're going straight to fucking prison. And if you're a public official and you're corrupt, then there's the sentencing guidelines are it's 50 years in jail, motherfucker. If you cheat, if you insider trade, if you break the fucking law and you're found guilty by a jury of your peers, you're doing 50 years, Nancy, fucking cunt. Like, but now it's just gross. It's just grimy, greedy, corrupt, bullshitty. So this is where the robots will help us quite a bit, right? Like when the robots come, things probably get a lot better. Yeah, well, you could probably pay them nothing and no one would leave because of all their insider trading and all their shenanigans. The thing is, you have to hold them accountable for those kinds of things. That's what doesn't currently exist. We haven't found a way to hold politicians accountable for fucking anything. I mean, for anything. We can't hold anybody accountable for anything. So, and you know what? What irks me is I bet you Nancy Pelosi feels pretty good about herself. I bet you in her mind, she's twisted it where the good I've done for society outweighs the amount of fraud and corruption that I have willingly participated in. But see, someone like that doesn't even register that as fraud and corruption. She's like, it's legal. Oh, well, it shouldn't be. Well, change the rules. I'm like, well, we elected you to change the rules. Oh, well, not that rule. We're not changing that rule. She probably sleeps just fine at night. She probably thinks that as a human, she's successful. She doesn't see or hear any of the people looking at her in contempt, any of the people that think she's fucking disgusting. And it's not just her. She's the worst of them, but she's representative of a whole class of scummy. And trust me, there's more scummy men than there is scummy women. It's just she's unfortunately the worst offender right now, but she is representative of a group of fucking scumbags. And these scumbags, they sleep just fine at night. They have rationalized and justified all of their behavior. That's right. She is a legend in her mind. She is awesome. They have done so much to help us stupid plebeian civilians. What without her there, how would we have made it this far? Just the cultural revolution she herself has helped usher in. There's a really funny. This will be our final thoughts. There's this really funny comedian that I like. It's like really like dark humor, and he was like, my buddy called me up last night. And he was angry. I said, what's up? He said, hey, my girlfriend's mad at me because of something you called her. He said, oh, well, was it the B word? He said, no. I said, huh. He goes, well, was it the C word? He goes, no. He goes, well, then she didn't hear it from me. because that's what I call her. So anyway, it's like, oh God, we live in a very weird place in time where a lot of bad behavior is not only forgiven, but in a lot of ways, it's like it's promoted and celebrated. Um, there's a lot of low IQ in the investment space. There's a lot of even lower IQ in the media space. There is a lot of noise. You have to be very careful that you also don't succumb to the emotional side of that noise. You have to stay math about this stuff, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's like with the hypercycle team. I'm friends with everybody, but if I think things are kind of fucked up, I'm gonna say they're fucked up. And it is what it is. Like, sorry, fellas, I don't care if you don't like my attitude right now. This is the way I see it. And we'll get into it every week or two, and then hopefully there's some changes made for the better. And it's with all these projects. It's just the good thing about Hypercycle is the team listens. The twin team doesn't listen. They're just wrong and embarrassed and just stop listening. The team at Gamer Token, they just quit all from the beginning. They just bent the knee and folded in and said, fuck it, we blew it, we're stupid. And they never listen. And it's the same thing with Singularity Net and that whole community, and just a bunch of weird emotional kind of zealotry and stuff. You're just like, stop being emotional, dude. Stop for a second. Make it about the math. You don't understand what this could, or they might, or they want. None of those fucking things matter. What matters is what is. What is what we use. What the data that is present is what we use for forward pricing. When you're buying an asset, it's with the assumption that there's more in there, that there's more to come, not that it's at the top. Otherwise, you wouldn't fucking buy it. There has to be more in it, or it's got to have some value for you beyond the more in it. Some value, which again, value is a personal thing, right? But you don't buy things when you think they've reached their top. You buy things when you think there's more juice in that fruit, right? So the way you do that is you look at the current data and you extrapolate forward. You use whatever math you can to extrapolate forward. That's it. So that's where we be. So when people get all religious and angry and all this, sorry, like, hey, listen, I took my SUI investment, which was almost a double, and I punted it into Aster, which is more than cut in half. It's actually today, it's officially down. So over the last 2 years, year and a half of investing in SUI, this is the different chart. Of investing in SUI, I made X amount. I gave it back in 10 days. 10 days. I gave the whole fucking thing back. Over $300,000. Poof. Gone. Okay, well, it is what it is. I thought Aster had more juice in the fruit. I thought CZ was going to keep pumping it. I thought a lot of things. I thought their their perps platform was more elegant than Hyperliquid. I think all these things. Doesn't matter. The investment didn't work out. It's a huge, glaring fucking loss. But I'm only 10 days in. Well, 11 days. 11 days now. 12? 11 or 12. I'm only 2 weeks in. In a year, maybe it's a complete loss. And I go, okay, well, shit. Do I think Aster? Yeah, of course, I do, or I would have sold it. So yeah, I still own it. I'll hold it. If it's a loser, okay, well, then I'll take it. I'll take it as a loss against income somewhere else on the balance sheet. It is what it is. If you don't have the emotional dexterity to take a loss, then investing in general is not going to be good for you. It's going to be too painful for you. You don't have to like it. You got to take it. And you have to take it in a way where it's not going to ruin your day, ruin your relationships, ruin your ability to think clearly and make future investments. We're in a market right now where people got beat up a few weeks ago and they're not in the right mindset. They're not in a space where they can make constructive decisions. And I think that's my base case of where we are right now. And I think it's going to take a couple of big things. It's going to take a government turning back on, interest rate cut, an end to the war in Ukraine, and some other things to turn things around a little bit, because people are just net negative. That's what I think is going on. Bam. And moving on to projects that will be the next. What it is. I don't see any projects right now that look all that exciting. I keep looking, and it all looks like just copy and paste of the same old spammy shit. Well, what would Nick do? You don't have to do what I would do, but I would definitely start with the math. So as long as you guys all start with the math and work your way outward, I think you'll be fine. But there's a lot of noise. Very easy to get caught up in the noise. Don't get caught up in the noise. And on that note, we'll see you tomorrow for Options Hour. It's weird because we're like right where we were last week, basically stuck in the mud. We had a good little run yesterday, which last Tuesday also, run up to 4,200, down. Yesterday, run up over 4,100, down. So for put selling, this looks good for tomorrow. For call selling, this looks bad for tomorrow. So stuck with a third week of not being able to sell any calls, or at least not for any real money. But we'll see what we'll see. So we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see you for options session. Stay in school, don't do drugs, don't do a thing my poor insolvent drunk, strung on a meth grandmother, or Brandon wouldn't do, which I don't know where he is. He had texted me. No internet. Oh, water. They're on a waterfall thing. So bravo on the waterfall.